We were on our way to Antarctica to see penguins, seals, and of course, icebergs. But before that, there was a mandatory stop in Santiago, Chile. And it was here that I found one of South America's most celebrated restaurants, Boragó. Boragó is currently ranked number 23 on the world's 50 best restaurants list, and it is the highest ranked restaurant in Chile, a position it has held consistently for many years. Yet, despite its reputation, Boragó holds no Michelin stars. Why? Does Michelin find it unworthy? No. It is simply because the Michelin Guide does not operate in Chile. Which raises an interesting question. If Michelin were here, would Boragó earn a star? Let's find out together. The atmosphere at Boragó is elegant but unforced. And what is that thing roasting in the back? We were quickly greeted with a welcome drink, Sol de Sol, a sparkling wine from southern Chile. Crisp and bright, a refreshing start. The view, too, is spectacular. From our table, we had a direct line of sight to the mountains, a constant reminder of where we were. The wine list is surprisingly tiny. I opted for a white wine, and the sommelier recommended Andorinha by Fernando Almeida from central Chile, a restrained, clean pairing that should go well with seafood. The opening bites arrived with an unexpected presentation. A single, unfamiliar item alongside a vase filled with plants. The server explained that the first bite was a barnacle. I had never had barnacles before. I knew that gooseneck barnacles are considered a delicacy, but I expected something gelatinous, maybe slimy, like jellyfish. Instead, it was flaky and firm, delivering a concentrated punch of umami. It tasted like lobster, maybe even better. Is barnacle turning into my favorite seafood now? The vase, it turned out, wasn't decorative at all. Inside was a juice made from fava beans and artichokes. Acidic and salty, the combination was unusual. I didn't love it as a juice, but I could imagine it working as a soup. The second course arrived like a small sculpture. Sea lettuce served on a stick, shaped like a tree. Even the stick, we were told, was edible. The sea lettuce had been infused with Chilean truffle. I never imagined sea lettuce could taste this good. The stick, on the other hand, tasted just like a cookie. When we lifted the cover, there was more underneath. A chilled almond cream topped with egg yolk and a piece of abalone cooked in seaweed, finished with a matica leaf. The combination was certainly unexpected. The almond cream was cool and gently sweet, blending seamlessly with the richness of the egg yolk, especially refreshing in the heat of a Chilean summer. The abalone was cooked perfectly, and even the seaweed it was wrapped in was deeply flavorful. After just 2 courses, my expectations were already climbing. Very high. The next 2 courses shifted toward Chilean vegetables. The first was a mix of forest vegetables served in a horseradish sauce. It was pleasant, though more restrained than what came before. We were told that even the flowers were edible, though personally, those weren't my favorite part of the dish. Then came something that looked like a cactus. This, we were told, is called nalca. Nalca is a wild plant native to southern Chile, often found in cool, rainy regions. It has thick, fibrous stalks with a naturally sharp acidity and is traditionally eaten raw with salt or used in preserves. It's one of those ingredients that feels deeply regional, something you're unlikely to encounter outside of Chile. The top portion was a grilled heart of the nalca. What I didn't realize at first was that you're meant to simply suck out the juice and discard the fibers, similar to how you would eat sugarcane. I unfortunately tried to chew it. That was not the right approach. Entirely my fault. The bottom portion, however, was a mixture of ground nalca and corn. This worked much better for me. Bright, slightly acidic, and reminiscent of a well-balanced corn salsa. If I had to choose, the bottom half was definitely the highlight of the dish. The next chapter moves toward Chile's vast coastline and the Pacific beyond. It begins with an oyster taco, topped with sea fingers. The shell of the taco is a malva leaf. When I lifted it, I realized the leaf itself had been crisped, light and fragile. In a single bite, everything came together. The richness and oceanic depth of the oyster, the clean salinity of the green sea fingers, and the freshness of the leaf itself, adding both texture and balance. It was a stunning and explosive two-biter. The next dish was a mussel served in a lemon reduction, and before even tasting it, I had to pause for a moment. The spoon itself was made from a mussel shell, a small yet playful detail to echo the dish. Alongside it, we were given a small bag of apricot to add sweetness. The mussel was incredibly tender, almost creamy, wrapped in bright acidity from the lemon. If you looked closely, there were also mushrooms placed to mimic the shape of the mussel's lips, a subtle, thoughtful touch. Savory, soft, and deeply comforting, it was a dish that felt both creative and grounded. The next dish takes us even farther out, to Easter Island. Yes, Easter Island is also part of Chile. The dish is a bonito tuna skewer, presented with a fruity sauce painted beneath it, shaped and colored like ripples on the ocean. Visually, it's beautiful. The server explained that the tuna was aged in beeswax for multiple weeks. The fish itself is so delicate that it falls off the skewer. Flavor-wise, though, was slightly lackluster. Bonito tuna isn't a particularly fatty fish, and in my experience, it shines most when treated with intensity, like the Japanese method of smoking it over hay, then lightly torching it to bring out depth and aroma. Boragó's beeswax aging process still didn't bring out enough flavor. The flavors didn't quite match the elegance of the presentation. After that, we were given a brief pause with a Chilean potato bread baked in a traditional oven. It is pretty much outside of the realm of bread. The inside is dense and soft, more like a potato croquette than a bread. Still, it was genuinely delicious, comforting, interesting, and brings cultural significance. The final chapter of the savory courses brings us back to land. The first offering is a 2-week aged duck. Just looking at it, the skin is perfectly glazed, deeply burnished, almost lacquered. There's also a tableside preparation, a traditional duck press. As it's worked, you can immediately smell the intensity of the duck jus, rich, concentrated, unmistakable. On the plate, the duck meat is wrapped in a leaf that has been marinated in an acidic reduction, meant to balance the gaminess of the duck. Personally, I found the leaf a bit too acidic. I actually preferred the duck on its own. The aged duck itself is deeply flavorful, and when combined with the jus, it really shines. Chile isn't a country traditionally associated with duck, but here, it works, and it works beautifully. Throughout the evening, I had been paying attention to the kitchen. There was something roasting in the background the entire time. Before long, it arrived at our table. Patagonian lamb, served with coastal vegetables like sea fingers and seaweed, finished with a sauce made from fermented soy. Naturally, my expectations were high. After watching it roast for so long, it felt like this would be one of the defining dishes of the meal. Unfortunately, this one didn't work for me. The lamb itself was dry, and the flavor felt surprisingly muted. The fermented soy sauce, along with the coastal vegetables, didn't seem to fully connect with the meat. It was an ambitious idea, but in this case, an unfortunate miss. Finally, we arrive at desserts. The first presentation is a beautiful shaved ice, decorated with small fruits still attached to branches. The fruit is called murtia. You guessed it, another ingredient native to southern Chile. Alongside it is a soft, white dough resting on the branch. We were told to wrap the fruit inside before eating it. I tried the fruit on its own first. It bursts immediately, a small pop of acidity and sweetness, incredibly refreshing after the savory courses. Wrapped in the dough, the texture becomes soft and chewy, like a Chilean interpretation of mochi. But the dish doesn't end there. We were given a syrup made from murtia to pour over the shaved ice, and hidden underneath is sheep's milk ice cream with rhubarb. Bright and cold, it feels perfectly suited for a Chilean summer. The next dessert is called the black sheep of the family. And yes, you do have to use a bit of imagination to see the sheep. The shape is abstract, maybe something Pablo Picasso would have approved of. The head is made from toasted marshmallow, while the body is sheep's milk with cocoa powder. It's playful, humorous, and a reminder to relax and have fun. The final dessert is called Cold Glacier. We were told to eat it immediately. I did, and instantly started laughing as cold smoke poured out of my mouth. Liquid nitrogen. A fun, unexpected ending to the evening. Looking back, Boragó was a genuinely fun and memorable meal. I experienced ingredients I had never encountered before, along with some of the most intense and beautifully executed seafood dishes. There were a few misses along the way, and at one point I felt the meal might start to lose momentum. But the desserts brought it back, ending on a second high and restoring the balance. I came here without doing much homework. I didn't realize just how much this restaurant is a tribute to Chile itself, its culture, its geography, and its ingredients. From the land to the sea, from plants to animals, everything felt deeply connected to where we were. There are no traditional luxury ingredients here, no caviar, no excess. Instead, Boragó allows the natural diversity of Chilean ingredients to speak for themselves. What was supposed to be a simple transit stop in Santiago became something far more memorable. The tasting menu is around $217 per person. It's certainly not inexpensive, but compared to many restaurants at a similar level, Boragó stands out for offering something truly unique. So going back to the original question, would Boragó receive a hypothetical Michelin star? My answer is a confident yes. And if you ever find yourself in Santiago, this is a place I would absolutely recommend for a memorable evening. If you like this type of restaurant review content, be sure to like and subscribe. I will see you in Europe for the next one.